What if the magic you've been searching for in grand quests and ancient prophecies has been waiting all along in the quiet rhythm of sanding wood, mending broken things, and brewing tea for strangers who feel like home? In the Enchanted Workshop, R.J. Cole delivers a cozy fantasy that transforms the artisan trope into a profound meditation on healing through creation, proving that true enchantment isn't found in wielding power over others, but in the tender stewardship of small, sacred acts. This isn't merely another whimsical cottagecore tale with talking teapots. It's a warm, emotionally precise narrative where craftsmanship becomes therapy, community is built through shared labor, and magic serves as metaphor for the patience required to restore what the world has discarded. From the first sawdust-scented narration, listeners are welcomed into a sanctuary where every creaking floorboard holds memory, and every repaired object carries the weight of being seen. Perfect for fans of gentle fantasy and stories where peace is an active practice rather than passive escape, this audiobook serves up atmospheric comfort, relentless kindness, and a protagonist whose journey from isolated maker to beloved neighbor resonates with anyone who's ever felt more at home with tools than people. When reclusive woodworker Alara Vance inherits her grandmother's enchanted workshop in the village of Bramble Hollow, she expects solitude, not to discover the space responds to emotional need, shaping itself around grief, joy, and unspoken longing. But as villagers begin arriving with broken heirlooms and heavier hearts, Alara realizes this inheritance isn't about preserving relics, it's about learning to receive care while offering it. Cole masterfully avoids reducing Alara to quirky hermit or magic to decorative charm. Instead, they craft a narrative where creation is communion, where consent is negotiated through the language of materials, and where belonging emerges not from performance but from presence. The audiobook narration amplifies this emotional precision, capturing Alara's guarded focus softening into genuine connection, while secondary voices shift subtly between hesitation and trust, making every request for repair feel like an act of vulnerability. You don't just hear the workshop awaken, you feel the seismic shift of a woman learning that magic lives not in spells, but in the willingness to stay. What elevates the Enchanted Workshop beyond typical cozy fantasy is its nuanced portrayal of craft as embodied mindfulness rather than aesthetic backdrop. Alara isn't merely fixing objects, she's confronting how years of isolation taught her to equate worth with utility, challenging the notion that value requires productivity. Her relationships evolve through acts of radical reciprocity, sharing silence during carving sessions that bypass small talk, setting boundaries that protect both creative flow and human connection, and honoring each villager's story without consuming their pain. Supporting characters add vital texture, elderly artisans whose wisdom carries both warmth and warning, young apprentices navigating inherited expectations, even the workshop itself rendered as living collaborator whose grain remembers every hand that shaped it. Every interaction reinforces the novel's core truth. In spaces built on restoration, tenderness is technique, and attention is the highest form of magic. Even the crafting details serve thematic depth, with joinery mirroring emotional integration, and seasonal rhythms becoming metaphors for necessary pauses and renewals. For audiobook listeners, this production is pure auditory sanctuary. The narrator embodies Alara and her community with remarkable distinction. Alara's voice carries steady calm, laced with dawning openness, while secondary voices span generations and temperaments, making every visitor's journey distinct yet harmonized. Sound design enhances atmosphere without overwhelming intimacy. Distant chimes marking magical mezzanines rain against leaded windows during vulnerable confessions, the rhythmic scrape of plane on wood syncing with breath during moments of clarity, all anchor mythic stakes in tangible reality. Pacing mirrors the cadence of handwork, deliberate during shaping and reflection, then gently accelerating as projects near completion and connections deepen. Whether you're commuting through urban chaos or unwinding in twilight stillness, the audiobook creates a portable haven where slowness feels sacred and presence feels like gift. It's storytelling as embodied validation, transforming passive listening into active participation in a world where magic isn't spectacle, it's sustenance. Ultimately, the Enchanted Workshop redefines cozy fantasy by centering female embodiment within creative frameworks. It satisfies genre cravings for atmospheric wonder and heartfelt resolution, while delivering substantive commentary on neurodivergent coded solitude, intergenerational healing, and the radical act of building belonging through mutual care. No prior series knowledge is needed. It stands confidently as a complete emotional odyssey. If you've ever wondered whether magic can exist without conflict, or if true peace requires engagement rather than withdrawal, this audiobook will affirm that sometimes the most powerful spell is simply showing up with open hands. Press play, pick up your own tool, literal or metaphorical, and prepare to believe that even in lives shaped by breaking, hearts still find ways to mend. Your next favorite fantasy isn't waiting in epic battles, it's waiting in the brave, quiet choice to create something true, together.